Okay, hey everyone, my name is Paris. I want to welcome you all to the third annual UBAWA Book Convention. Give all these authors a round of applause. So we have many amazing authors here today coming from all over. And I personally think it's great that we can come together as a Black community to celebrate greatness, considering all the craziness going on. So I'm really happy and honored to be here. So just a layout of today. We're going to have 6 different panel discussions. I will ask these authors some questions, and then I will open it up if you guys have any questions of your own. Authors, there's no need to be worried. This is a light event. We're here to support you all. We are not judging you. We just want to learn more about you and your books. So don't worry, and the questions aren't too hard. So I just want to get started with an introduction of each author. Maybe you guys can say your name, where you're from, and just one of your favorite books that you've written. All right, so let's get started. We'll start with you.
I go by Alvin Harmony. I'm actually from Dallas, Texas. And
What is your favorite book?
that's a difficult one.
Oh,
I'm actually a relatively new author. My book that I published is called Simple Secrets.
thank you.
Hello, my name is Joy Elam. I'm from Oakland, California, and I am a 6-time published author. I've gone into the industry as a poet, and now I've evolved into writing fiction and collection of essays.
Hi, Lynette Edwards from Lake Charles, Louisiana. 6-time author. My favorite book that I've written is the One Night Only series, the book 1, which is titled One Night Only.
Hello, my name is Nisha Lene, and I'm from right here in Los Angeles. I was raised here. I'm a 3.5-time self-published author and published at Concrete Rose Publications. My favorite book that I've written so far would be my book called Pounding the Pavement, due to the fact that I grew up in Los Angeles where it's very known for prostitution. So I wrote a story of a girl born into prostitution and her navigating trying to get out of prostitution and deal with the life that she was born into.
All right, well, let's get started with you since you have the mic already. So I just wanted to know what inspired you to become an author, and when did you publish your first book?
What inspired me to become an author? I've always loved reading since I was a child. I grew up with 2 addicts as a parent, so I grew up in a very dysfunctional family, dysfunctional life. When I was younger, I would write stories that reflect me in like a different situation, like different parents, different growing up, different upbringing. And when I got to high school, I fell in love with urban fiction, and I said I wanted to write urban fiction. I wrote my first story when I was 15. I was published at the age of 23.
Oh, wow. Yes. Great.
Published my first book in 2011. I was given a book, it was actually an Essence book of inspiring women that someone gave me to read. And I looked at the book and saw all these amazing women, and I said, you know what, I bet if I wanted to, I could be an inspiring woman also. And so I ended up picking up the Bible, computer, got my laptop, and started writing, and the rest is history. And since then, I've published 6 Christian fiction books.
Question for you, are you sticking with Christian fiction, or do you might expand?
I have one book that I'm working on now that's not Christian fiction, but everything that's published so far has been Christian fiction.
Thank you.
I've been a writer since 2011, and I've always loved reading and writing, but growing up, having a disability, I didn't see role models like me, so I decided to write my own book. And I just wanted to just show that anybody can do it on their own if they put their mind to it.
All right, sorry. Another question, are your books mostly fiction or reality?
I have 3 different genres, so I have poetry or spoken word, fiction, and academic, nonfiction.
Thank you.
I published my first book, I don't say first, it'll be followed, but I published my first book in 2014. It was a long journey. I was also at the time started writing, then I would stop. But it was her word to tell me, everybody has a story. And a lot of people may do the same thing, but nobody can write it the way you write it. So I went through that process and I wrote that. And as I was trying to go through that process, then at the beginning of this year, I was diagnosed with cancer. So it was me going through that battle and me just going with what she taught me how to do. So everything that I've done with publishing house and everything is based around music because my grandmother taught us about music. So everything's pretty much in memory of her and dedicated to her, especially with me. I've always read, and it was something that she thought I always did at the time. So I just found out that me trying what I thought and what I was trying to think and say, they never worked. So what was in my head never really came out right when I said things, but it flowed when I wrote. The paper didn't condemn me. It didn't put me in a box. It didn't put me somewhere where I felt bad, like what I said was wrong. So I could freely open. And if you notice, the book is really big, so I'm really going through something.
Yeah. Do you ever incorporate yourself in the stories?
90% of the book is based on what I've grown up and seen. My grandparents were ministers. My grandma's minister of music, my granddad's a pastor, every male in my family is a minister. So based on the genre that I wrote, it touches on so many different genres. There's a part in the LGBT community, there's part of erotic fiction in it, there's the urban fiction in it, and then there's also certain religious parts based on the character being raised in the church, which I can really attest to because I was raised in the church.
Just a question now for all of you. How did you decide whether you wanted to self-publish or use a traditional publisher?
For me, I wanted to self-publish because I wanted control over maybe it was over the cover. That was my biggest thing. I wanted control over what I wanted my cover to look like. The content I knew was there, but I'm saying I wanted to be able to say what I wanted to say, how I wanted to say it, how I got it out, when I got it out. That was my biggest thing. I wanted full and total control.
I chose self-publishing because I tried the traditional route and I did not like worrying if they would give me a rejection. So it's just better to just do it myself, pay out of my own pocket, and just, for me, writing is therapy. So I don't care whether you agree with it or not, it's my truth. So self-publishing gave me that freedom to be myself and just write to the world and just
I actually started off under self-publishing. The first 4 books were self-published. I actually made it on a national level. The Lifetime Television did some commercials, so had an all-expense paid tour. And so after that, I was like, well, I made it this far, so now let's go the opposite route. And so now I'm with a publishing company. And both ways work out. It's just it's hard work either way. So you just have to put it together.
I originally started with the company. I did not like how they ran their publishing company. I didn't like questions I was asked. They were like passed over. So I decided to self-publish and I don't have any regrets. I love working for myself, having control over what my cover looks like, what my characters look like, who does my covers, who does my editing, who does my typesetting. I like having full control over my business and my building, my brand that I'm presenting to the world.
Do you ever feel the pressure since now you've chosen to take it all on yourself? Do you ever feel like this is too much?
I do feel the pressure, but then I always have to remind myself this is what I asked for. And there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, so I just constantly look at where I want to be, where I've come from, where I want to be, and how I'm going to continue to work hard, whether I got to be up to 3 o'clock in the morning, yeah, work at 7.
Wow. So, since you said that, many of you is writing your only job or you do something else. So it's like 2 jobs or 3 jobs. 3?
I still do work a 9 to 5. I work as a customer service representative for AT&T. So by day I work, and by night I fulfill my dreams.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
I actually work as an executive of a behavior company full-time. I actually have an entertainment business on the side and I also write for Baby.
I work as a special ed aide in the day and at a recreation center for after school program. And then I write in between, like on my lunch breaks and stuff. And one good thing about the recreation program was my boss was like, oh, why are you sitting at the desk? Because you just got to open up for the event. You can write your next book. So I'm cool that I have a boss that's like supportive. Very supportive.
I do have, I can't call it a 9 to 5, it's like an all-day thing. I'm a pharmacy technician, so I work for CVS.
Yeah.
So but I'm not so much as in the pharmacy itself. I'm more so in the billing, the insurance end. So even though I'm in between claims and everything, I'm writing while I'm working at the same time. So then when I get off work and I go home, I'm still working. Whether it's in the office, I take the laptop home and I'm still working. So I'm definitely continuously busy.
Which leads me to ask, how do you feel the support has been from family, friends, coworkers, other authors? How has the support been?
For me, it's the support from other authors. Has been it's been overwhelming in a good way. For me, from family, I do things differently. I like the element of surprise. So I don't tell you what I'm doing until I'm already done. So there's nothing you can say in between, do it this way, go that route. They have no idea. So when I'm done and I've presented you with my product, then my family they're speechless to where there's nothing, you have no input, you have no say. But I've gotten, and overwhelmingly as the relatively new author compared to everybody else here, I've gotten such a major support, mainly from Nisha. I've known Nisha for about 2-3 years now, probably. And with me going through everything, I call her my accountability partner. To where if I fall or do